Oh, it's live, pal.
Sorry.
We will ban you from the Summerfest.
Right here in the Silverdome.
Jeff Harvey.
And I have half the brain that you
do. Welcome to the Wrestle Hunks Podcast, a podcast where three hunks get together and discuss some of the very worst things you can find on the WWE Network. As always, I'm joined by the hunkiest hunk, Brody Price.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
It's evening, but
pretty late in the evening.
It's afternoon somewhere, brother.
Committed to the game.
It's always 4:20 somewhere in the world, as Matt Riddle and I would say.
Bro.
And I'm also joined by the self-proclaimed IMDb of wrestling, Nathan Marlow.
Please, sir, may I have another folly? Big Show versus Brock Lesnar.
When you said that, I forgot that Paul Heyman was on the card. But now you said that. That actually makes sense, that impression. So good.
We need to stop doing shows that have Paul Heyman on it, so Nat has to do different impressions instead of just using this same one.
Sorry, I didn't want to bust out a JBL one yet.
Oh, saving that.
Oh, God. I hate that JBL was on commentary for this so much.
Wow.
I'm not using that one on the bingo halls. What's in Madison Square Garden?
Hey, it's all about the Barclays Center now. That's the new Madison Square Garden.
It's a joke.
Ooh, big call. Barclays Center's brilliant arena.
Are you trying to score some free tickets?
Hey, if they want to give me tickets to take over Brooklyn 506 or whatever the fuck they're up to now, I'll take them.
Yeah, just use my code on SeatGeek.
So I brought this up with you last night, Pricey, but we needed to mention here at the start of the podcast that if you're ever Google searching this podcast, never just search Wrestle Hunks. Always search Wrestle Hunks Podcast, because you're not going to enjoy what comes up if you just search Wrestle Hunks. Or maybe you will. Depends on your preferences, but...
You can enjoy it if you want. Just make sure you're over 18 as well.
You're getting over to the naked side of the internet.
Make sure you're not at work when you search Wrestle Hunks.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Cool.
Because if your boss comes across that, you might not be too happy.
I don't know if we've really thought about the name before we started this, but I think we're too deep in. We're just going to keep it.
Well, we're going to be Wrestle Friends, but some ding-dong and his son decided to make a podcast called Wrestle Friends.
If he's listening...
They're not even on iTunes or anything. I searched that, Wrestle Friends the other day, and nothing comes up.
Well, just tell me he's not making us the big one. Start with two.
Oh, we could have just kept Wrestle Friends.
Probably should have. Hindsight. There we go.
But something the Wrestle Friends also don't have is a sponsorship each and every week with the Simon System. And Nat, you're going to again tell us a little bit about the Simon System.
I am, and it's been 3 weeks. And if you haven't tried the Simon System, you still can't see yourself when you go to the toilet. Today, that changes. Use the code SIMONPEEN, and you know what I say. Simon says, I'm better than you.
I reckon that might be the best one so far.
Yeah,
that took me about 20 seconds, right?
You're on the fliz.
Oh, whoops, Simon.
Is that a real?
Oh, Simon Dean's come back. Oh, see you, Simon. Steals the microphone every week.
Is that? Have you come up with that little segment yourself, or is that taken from an actual Simon Dean promo?
I've written that on the fly because I thought we were done with this, so I didn't watch a Simon Dean promo beforehand.
That's impressive. I would have thought that was an actual promo.
Yeah, pretty good.
Thank you. I wrote it for him.
But yes, this is the Wrestle Hunks Podcast, and as mentioned, we get together and discuss some of the worst and weirdest things you can find on the WWE Network. This week, we're reviewing WWE Live from Madison Square Garden 2015, Lesnar versus Big Show. Live from MSG 2015 won our weekly poll with just 32% of the vote, edging out NXT Season 1, Episode 1 on 28%, and the 2009 Slammy Awards and WWF In Your House 4 came equal last with 20%. This means Nat has won 2 of the polls now. Pricey's won 1, the wild card has won 1, and I still haven't won a single poll.
Yes.
Well,
you've been second like every week, so that's kind of good, I guess.
I was so close to taking it home this week. Like, I was probably like a vote or two away from having NXT Season 1 be what we cover.
I'll be honest, I didn't even vote for my option. I voted for the Slammies.
I'm pretty sure that's what I did with week 1. I didn't even vote for what I put up there. I was like, nah, I'll vote for December to Dismember instead.
Well, look how well that turned out.
Hey, it's set us on the course to our podcast superstardom.
Exactly.
But on top of that, more motherfuckers need to vote in these polls. We had a very poor response this week on the poll.
Just give it a comment or a retweet. That would be great. Thank you, guys.
Not the motherfuckers. We'll refer to them as hunks and hunkettes.
Hunkamaniacs.
The little hunkamaniacs.
Yeah, exactly.
But I just want to have a more connected wrestling community, you know? So when you see the poll go up, retweet, like, and fave, and then comment a gif of your favourite wrestler. But seriously, people need to vote.
Yeah, no, throw a vote in.
Vote for me as well.
Yeah. Or not. Either way, just vote.
Hey, just do whatever you want. I'm not your dad.
Yeah, exactly.
So I've got to ask both you boys now, had either of you seen the WWE Live from Madison Square Garden Network Special before sitting down to watch it for this?
I hadn't. I don't really even remember the build up to it, apart from I know Lesnar and Big Show was like the big main match, but apart from that, I don't really remember anything from this.
Well, I watched it the night of, not live. I watched it when I got home. I was out somewhere, and for some reason, I really wanted to watch this. It was kind of disappointing because I only watched it for Lesnar Big Show.
You're waiting all day for it.
I do. Do you have anywhere in your notes written down about what the tour was called?
It was called the Road to Hell tour, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I do.
I was very invested in that for some reason. Don't have a clue why, but I just thought it was cool that Brock Lesnar was actually wrestling like a wrestler should.
It was impressive. Like, that whole tour was like, it was him wrestling house shows, which is amazing to think.
But I will say this was very disappointing compared to Beast in the East.
Well, I've never seen Beast in the East, so I'm gonna have to take your word for it. I did look at the card for it in this. I got it in the build-up section, but yeah, I've never seen any of Beast in the East.
I just, like, when I did some research for the show, just came across the Bleacher Report's review of it, and they said, if you were looking for the quality of Beast in the East, this is not the show to watch.
Ooh, harsh. What about you? Have you seen the original Roadblock as well?
Yes, I have.
How does it compare to that?
I can't remember exactly, but they're pretty much similar. I think it's probably in between Beast in the East, just because probably the Japan fans are a lot cooler.
Have you seen Roadblock, Pricey?
Yeah, I remember watching that, the main event. I also think, did Enzo and Cass wrestle on that? Did they have an NXT title match?
Yeah, they did. Against the Vaudevillains, maybe?
Yeah, I feel like Enzo and Cass were on it. So, yeah, I remember watching that. It was kind of cool. It looked like a house show. I guess this kind of did as well, but it was like less. I think there was like less lighting as well, maybe.
Yeah.
From memory, but yeah.
Well, I've never seen any of those events. Well, I've obviously seen live in MSG now, but I hadn't seen any of those events before this. I didn't remember like any promotion for this network special at all around the time. I don't think I was watching like Raw that hardcore at that time, but yeah, I don't remember like being excited for this or anything. Yeah,
I don't know why the hell I was. I do remember though they said something about Seth Rollins and Cena, but that was about it. Because originally I think there was supposed to be the tag match at the start was supposed to be a singles.
Really?
Yeah, it was supposed to be Ziggler versus Rusev and then Sheamus, Randy, but to cut time.
Oh yeah, that would make sense. Yeah.
So, but it's no live in Italy.
Yeah, no, they didn't upload live in Italy. All those live in random country events to the network, as well as Global Warning.
They probably don't have
Global Warning's on it.
They probably don't have the DVD of live in Italy.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't reckon anyone at the WWE remembers that that's a thing.
Well, if they want to buy it off me, I'll sell it for $500.
That's a generous offer.
I know.
So that leads us into the history, background, and build-up to the event. The Live in MSG 2015 event was held on October 3, 2015, which, fun fact, was exactly 5 years to the day after Hell in a Cell 2010, which we reviewed last week.
Jesus.
Ooh.
I thought I was like messing up or something when I wrote that in. I'm like, I'm sure that was the same as last week's date, but apparently, yeah, it's turned out that we're covering an event on the same date 5 years later. And on this day in history, flash floods on the French Riviera kill at least 19 people. England, who were hosting the World Cup, lose to Australia 33-13 and crash out of the World Cup in just the pool stage. The US airstrike hits Doctors Without Borders hospital in Afghanistan, killing around 19 as well. Dave Pike, an American jazz vibraphone and marimba player, dies at 77.
Vibraphone.
Nat, what's your favourite Dave Pike song?
Is he the one that made Baker Street?
I think Dave Pike was the Canadian guy that played for the Sydney Swans, wasn't he?
Yeah. Maybe Mike was his middle name or something.
But yeah, jazz music hasn't been the same since Dave Pike passed on at 77. We also had Dennis Healy, an English politician, dying at 98. He was a good keeper for Australia for a while. We also had The Hills by The Weeknd as the top song on the charts, and the top movie at the box office was Goosebumps.
Do you know one thing you've missed?
What have I missed here?
One of our very good friends and very passionate listener turned 21 on this exact day. Do you know who that was?
I can't believe I've missed this.
Give him a shout out. He deserves it. He's old. He's really old.
Big Stuart Evans' birthday.
The big dog. The real big dog.
Wait, were we... Wait, October 3, 2015, was this the same day the Hawks won the flag as well?
Did he have his birthday the exact same day?
I'm pretty sure he did. If it's... Let me have a look.
Oi.
2015
Look that up, big dog.
AFL Grand Final.
But I looked at the date and I forgot. I thought I should have given a shout out last week, so just so happens it's this week, so we'll give him a little...
Yeah,
nod.
the Hawks beat the Eagles October 3, 2015. So that was the same day it was his 21st. Wow.
I'm doing research, even without looking anything up, just like that.
Big
AFL.
Oh, yes. Sorry if you're not from Australia.
Nat, you would have been having a great time around then. Getting to watch the Live in MSG show the day after.
Was I?
Maybe that's where you were, Nat. Were you at the party? That would have made sense.
I don't know. Maybe.
Due to time zones, the next day would have been Live in MSG. Maybe you were hungover.
I have no idea.
So obviously, Live in MSG was held in Madison Square Garden in New York City. The attendance here was actually 19,224, according to Rich Brennan on commentary, but it's reported everywhere else as 20,000. So I'm not sure who's correct. Did either of you pick that up?
Yeah, that's why I told Pricey to change it. But what does Rich Brennan know? He's not in the company anymore.
That's like the first thing he says on commentary. He says there's 19,224.
He says at the end of the night, though, the correct one.
Oh, does he? So I was passed out by then, too much good wrestling. So Night of Champions had taken place just a couple of weeks prior to this. This was the final Night of Champions pay-per-view to be held to date. And that card saw in a dark match the Cosmic Wasteland defeating Kalisto, Neville and Sin Cara via pinfall, Kevin Owens defeating Ryback for the Intercontinental Championship, Dolph Ziggler defeating Rusev, the Dudley Boys defeating the New Day via disqualification, Charlotte defeating Nikki Bella by submission to win the WWE Divas Championship, Braun Strowman, Bray Wyatt, and Luke Harper defeating Chris Jericho, Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns. John Cena defeating Seth Rollins for the United States Championship, and then Seth Rollins ending Sting's career for the Heavyweight Championship. Nat, if you were Bret Hart, what would you say about that main event right there?
Seth Rollins is the worst worker in the WWE.
He's unsafe.
He's just unsafe.
There's no way.
Even though Sting said he's probably in his top 5 workers he's ever worked with.
In his Fave 5.
He said that. He actually said that. I don't know why. When he literally got injured by him, but okay.
Hey, Bret Hart knows everything, man.
Didn't he say Sasha Banks was unsafe?
Oh, he can't go a month without saying somebody's unsafe.
He's never been the same since he had to manage the Hart Dynasty.
He's never been the same since Goldberg kicked him in the head.
Or when the Nexus killed him in the car or something.
No, he deserved it. But following that event, the WWE confirmed that Sting sustained an injury during this match with Rollins. It was a neck injury that he received when he got a buckle bomb from Seth. This would turn out to be the final match of Sting's career, as on April 2, 2016, during his Hall of Fame induction speech, Sting officially announced his retirement. I wanted to ask you boys, how many more matches do you think we get out of Sting here if he doesn't get this particular injury?
I think we probably would have got the Undertaker match. I feel like
that was the plan. There was a WrestleMania Undertaker match.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's really the one thing we missed out on. The one thing everyone wanted. I can't believe they didn't do that for his first WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of makes. I can see why they would have wanted to wait. Maybe just wait for him to sort of have a couple of matches in WWE and have like that. Maybe a big send off. Maybe that's his last match. But yeah, I think they kind of missed the boat. It would have been great if Sting had joined WWE, a few years earlier, so he would have been younger.
Well, low key, I enjoyed that match with Triple H. I had a smile on my face that whole match.
Yeah, it was a fun match.
Yeah,
but obviously everyone has wanted Taker Sting for years, so it's a bit disappointing, I guess.
I feel like Taker Sting would have been perfect that year because like Taker's coming off the loss, and then a match with Sting would have automatically made it huge. Where instead, like his match that year kind of was just like no one really gave a shit.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was the perfect time. It's kind of sad that we didn't get it. Sting was my favorite wrestler. Even when I smashed his wrestling figure against the shed, he was still my favorite.
Well, Sting's never forgotten that, by the way. He's holding it against you.
That's probably why he didn't have the match.
I don't really remember Sting WCW, but I just remember him from the Main Event Mafia.
Oh, MEM.
I don't have any memories of WCW Sting.
Yeah, well, TNA Sting is probably the best.
Yeah.
Classic matches with Jeff Hardy.
Hopefully we get to see that one.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm sure we will definitely get to that eventually.
Yeah, 100%.
But the following night on Raw, after Night of Champions, Corporate Kane returned and resumed his position as Director of Operations, seemingly oblivious to his attack on Seth Rollins at Night of Champions. Following a series of confrontations, Kane received a title match against Rollins at Hell in a Cell, which Rollins ends up winning. And Kane will eventually lose his position as Director of Operations. On the September 21 edition of Raw, Charlotte is celebrating her victory over Nikki Bella, and her teammate from PCB, one of the great team names of all time, goes on a rant about how there is no Divas Revolution and tells Charlotte that the reason she won the championship was because of her father, and tells Becky Lynch that she is irrelevant, and this turns Paige heel in the process. Do you reckon that they should have been called the Submission Sorority or what?
Oh, I have that in my notes. Why would you cut it out? Cut it out now.
It's just like searching up Wrestle Hunks.
It's not far off.
I'm going to search Submission Sorority. See what we get here.
We're going to get something graphic. I know that much.
Oh, yeah. No, you actually don't.
Really?
The entire first page of like stuff that you get here is just people covering the fact that the WWE used that name. So they could have got away with it.
I probably could have.
What could have been?
Oh man, peanut, corn and butter sandwich.
I'm believing that that's the correct way that it stands for now. So later in that same Raw, Randy Orton joined forces with Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose to attack the Wyatt family. Then we saw Ryback invoking his rematch clause for the Intercontinental Championship against Kevin Owens on the October 1 episode of SmackDown. Ryback would win this by countout, meaning Owens would retain the championship. The two would go on to have a match at Hell in a Cell. The WWE also had a similar network special to this in July of the same year, as we mentioned earlier, which was Beast in the East. It was the first WWE event to be broadcast live from Japan and was the first time Lesnar would be having a non-pay-per-view match since 2004. I already covered that, actually, if you've seen Beast in the East. But did either of you know why Lesnar was on Beast in the East?
No. Was it a favour to someone? Or something like that?
Kinda. So what happened here, I looked this up in my research, and reportedly Lesnar requested a spot on the show in Japan because he and Brad Reinigans or something, I don't know, I've never heard of this dude before. He's some amateur wrestling dude. They wanted to go to Tokyo to visit Masa Saito, who was in bad health. The WWE then released a promotional video announcing that the show would no longer be a house show and would be broadcast live on the WWE Network. So, yeah, that's why Lesnar was going over there.
That makes sense. Why not? While you're over there, just get paid for it.
I'm disappointed that he didn't go over there to visit Bob Sapp, the great IWGP heavyweight champion.
Hey, shout out to Bob Sapp in The Longest Yard. That's one of the GOAT movies.
That's probably top 3 career moments for Bob Sapp.
Oh, yeah.
But one day later, the WWE revealed the entire match card for Beast in the East. One of the matches that was scheduled for the event was the New Day versus Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, but this could no longer take place due to Tyson Kidd suffering an injury with, I believe that's with the dangerous worker Samoa Joe. Just dangerous workers left, right, and center in the WWE these days.
Did Bret Hart say that as well?
I'm sure he did, especially because it was Tyson Kidd.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But Kidd and Cesaro were replaced by the Lucha Dragon, so I'm sure Japan loved that. I wanted to ask you, though, do you think the WWE should do more specials like this on the network? Because the last time they really did something like this was the original Roadblock, which was ages ago now.
I mean, it'd be cool. It's a cool little thing to do. I think Nat said, what are they bringing back? Is it Starcade?
Starcade. They had it last year as well, and that should be on the network.
Why not?
Starcade?
Why not just... Yeah.
Was that
Yeah, you know, remember they did the house show last year in Carolina? And Cody, they were trying to get Cody like a one-day contract.
No, I
don't remember that?
thing. I'm looking at it right now, but yeah.
Yeah, it was like a house show, but they...
I think Goldust wanted to wrestle Cody.
Yeah.
Was this filmed? Is this on the network?
No, it was just called Starcade.
So it's not on the network.
Just a live event, like a house show, but it's called Starcade. I think they put a couple matches from like the other brand on as well.
And they had all legends there in the crowd and stuff.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. It was for the SmackDown brand. Jeez, it's actually a pretty cool event. Yeah, and I'm looking at the 2018 one's being held on November 24.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's pretty much the same as last year.
Sure, yeah, but like, surely you chuck that on the network. Like,
yeah,
you're making a big deal out of it. I don't see the point of like not broadcasting it.
But think about how many pay-per-views they got coming up. That's a big, like, for the production crew to move around.
True, but like, I feel like if you just, kind of have it low key, kind of just like a house show with like minimal production value in it, like.
Yeah.
Geez, there's 2 steel cage matches on this.
Yeah, because steel cage matches were big back in the day.
The Cincinnati Street Fight. It's got everything you'd ever want. It's even got Lana on the card.
You say a Cincinnati Street Fight?
Yeah, it's been held in Cincinnati.
Oh, this year?
Yeah, this year. They're moving it around, so like, I don't know. They need to broadcast it. Last year, people missed out on seeing Dustin Rhodes defeating Dash Wilder. Did he actually work as Dustin Rhodes there?
That's right. No, he did. He like full gimmick. Like he wasn't in Goldust gear or anything. I remember.
Mad respect. Arn Anderson was a special outside enforcer against for the Bobby Roode Dolph Ziggler match. These need to be on the network. But back to WWE Live from Madison Square Garden 2015. This event, as Nat mentioned earlier, was part of the Brock Lesnar's Go to Hell tour. and it was his return to Madison Square Garden, his first match in the arena since his departure from the company in 2004. The event also happened to mark the 25th anniversary of Chris Jericho's debut in professional wrestling. I really miss seeing events held at Madison Square Garden. What about you boys?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Madison Square Garden, even on like a live broadcast, had a different feel about it, whether it was the entranceway or whatever. But you could just tell, it's a big deal if it's at Madison Square Garden. So that not having it there anymore, yeah, it's kind of a bummer. But I mean, you've got reasons there on that note that say why they don't do it, but still.
Bruce Pritchard hates the entrance when they do it from the front way.
Really, I love that entrance. I love it so more than the new setup after they like revamped the arena.
He didn't like it because you get to see inside, like, all of the back when they open the doors.
No, Bruce Pritchard can rotate on it for that call, I reckon.
Jesus, I love him.
I do too, but like that, it's an iconic entrance.
Is that really the reason you didn't like it? Because you could fix that pretty easily. Why don't you just put two curtains, go through like a first curtain and then a second curtain, and then.
Yeah, there's
I know, but
plenty of ways you could fix that.
Sorry, Bruce.
But the reason that they apparently don't run MSG shows that are televised anymore is that it's extremely costly to do so. To run an event at MSG, you apparently can't bring in your own team of like production and like all that sort of stuff. You actually have to hire Madison Square Garden's own workers for the event. But apparently at the moment, live streaming only events are a loophole to this, and hence why this was actually a network special. So, yeah, apparently it's the Garden's own fault that the network are not, the WWE are not doing events there anymore, which is kind of shitty. Like, I don't understand why they have to use their workers.
Do they not do house shows there?
Yeah, that's what they do now.
yeah, they do the big house shows.
Yeah, okay.
Because, like, yeah, they do house shows. I had that there on my notes. As you can see by this crowd getting 19 to 20,000, the WWE manages to pack out the Garden without even having to put on a Raw or a pay-per-view. So it makes way more sense to just run a house show there, make a bunch of money, and not have to pay a bunch of random workers to do all your shit.
Yeah, that's true.
This also happened to be the first broadcasted event to be held at Madison Square Garden since Survivor Series 2011, which I didn't even know was held at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, they had that new entrance ramp. So. Yeah,
Oh, really?
It's not. Well, yeah, like you could. Wait, is that the one with the Rock? 2011.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be, yeah.
I remember the entrance, like they built it as like the Rock back in MSG, but it just didn't feel the same having like the entrance way different.
Well, I'm going to segue that into what is your favourite event that's been held at Madison Square Garden?
Royal Rumble 2000.
Is that the only event you've seen there, Nat?
Good shout.
No, Royal Rumble 2008. There's... What else is there?
Well, I can name my two.
It's just all the Raws. I don't remember any else. There's WrestleMania 20, but I don't love that.
WrestleMania 20 is like the first WrestleMania I watched, and the ending with Eddie and Benoit is a pretty memorable memory for me as a kid. So that one, or one that I really enjoyed was Survivor Series 02. Was that the one with the chamber?
Ooh, yeah, yeah,
Yes,
it is, yeah.
yes.
Yeah, that one as well. The tag match, the triple threat tag, and then the chamber is pretty cool.
Yeah, I'd probably have to go WrestleMania 20. That's a solid event, just in general, solid WrestleMania in general. And when it comes to MSG shows that I've actually seen, it's probably at the top. Shout out to WrestleMania 1, though.
Of course.
I mean, I've never seen anything from WrestleMania 1, but just shout out to it.
Welcome to WrestleMania.
It would have been a lot better if it was called Colossal Tussle. Colossal Tussle at the Garden just rolls off the tongue. But yeah, that does it for the build up to the event, which leads us into the actual show itself. And this week, the number of dead people on the show is 0.
I knew that was going to happen, so I instead said number of release people.
Oh, geez, that'd probably be a bunch, wouldn't it?
Well, not released, but whatever. They're not in the company. It's 7, but it's 9 if we're counting Jericho and Kane.
Jeez, yeah. Now that you've mentioned that, there are a lot of people on this card that are no longer in the company.
you want to run through them quickly, or?
Oh shit, I didn't write them down, but I'll go off the top of my head. Eden Styles, who is that?
Neville and Stardust are no longer there.
Neville, Stardust, Rich Brennan. There's
Nikki Bella's kind of retired, isn't she?
Summer Rae.
Summer Rae's done.
No, Nikki Bella's still wrestling.
Is she?
One sec.
Dudley.
The Dudley Boys, that's the 7.
Chris Jericho's technically not there anymore.
And then Jericho and Kane are 8 and 9 if you're counting them.
You also can kind of count Cena at this point. Like, he's kind of the same as Jericho. Like, when was the last
Did you
time?
see he dyed his hair?
I think I did see that.
He looks amazing though. Like, it's gonna be good when we see him. Shit, we gotta book. Oh yeah, we should book tickets soon.
I thought you were gonna say we should all dye our hair.
Let's do that too. Wait, Nat, book the tickets while we're podcasting, like while we're
Live on
recording.
the air.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But while Nat books the tickets, I'll let you know that Zack Ryder defeated Bo Dallas and Mark Henry defeated Brad Maddox in the show's dark matches.
Yeah, but Mark Henry beat him in 25 seconds, so I wish
did.
that was televised.
But nobody knows how long it took Zack Ryder to defeat Bo Dallas, so...
No, it's Broadway.
60 minutes, time limit draw. And as mentioned earlier, we've got Rich Brennan on commentary, and I just wrote here, good for him. I'm proud of him.
Yeah, I'm proud of him as well. Good for him. He did a network special.
This was the first time I'd ever actually seen what Rich Brennan looked like, so it was
feel like
interesting. I didn't expect him to look like that.
What did he do before this? Was he on NXT maybe, or?
Rich Brennan definitely did NXT. There was like a million different people that did.
He also does sports casting.
Was he?
What does he do? Like the darts or like League of Legends or something?
No, I think something proper.
Oh yeah, like
Wow,
the
something
10-pin
proper.
bowling.
Like National Football League.
I don't
darts
reckon Rich
fans.
Brennan does that. So that brings us to the first match of the night, which is Dolph Ziggler and Randy Orton defeating Rusev and Sheamus via pinfall in 8 minutes and 41 seconds. Meltzer's going to give this 3 stars.
You're useless as Lana, you hear that? You're so useless more than Lana. You're more useless than these people. Now go ahead, go back your suitcase and leave.
What did you boys think of it to kick off the network special here?
Pretty typical, just like a house show tag match, I thought. Also, I think you mentioned it before, Eden Styles was on there. Brandy's great, but JoJo, so much better. Don't we agree, as a ring announcer?
What happened?
I mentioned in my notes for one of the matches later on, but I'll say it here. Eden Styles is fucking terrible as an announcer.
Yeah.
Like,
What happened to her?
But what do you mean? What happened?
Where is she these days?
she's married to AJ Styles.
No.
Son and daughter of Joey Styles. The whole Styles fam.
Oh, goodness me, that was actually very funny. Good work.
The first thing I really noticed about even during the entrances is that clearly these 4 are treating this event, even though it's being streamed to the network, they're clearly treating it as a house show.
Yeah.
They're doing typical house show, just do whatever the fuck you want. Don't really
Ziggler and
care.
Orton were definitely doing
Yeah.
it.
Ziggler and Randy were just taking the piss before the bell rang.
Yeah.
Even I had here in my notes, Randy during his entrance, he was just swinging his arms around and stuff. He looks
I have
he's on
written down
cocaine
here-
at all times.
I've written down here, motivated Orton is so good. When
Who's
Randy Orton's
motivated?
when he's motivated, do you see how much he enjoyed that match? He loved it because they fucking cheered the shit out of him. He had the huge legacy pop. Fucking when you get so old, you can't be a heel anymore. So he has to start sticking screwdrivers in people's ears.
That's a
I'd
good
pop for that,
point.
Phil. I just pointed out, I think you've sort of got something about it as well. I just didn't like Rusev's look here.
Yeah,
Also,
I said
does he look
Rusev looks like a fucking goober.
Does he look more jacked now as well?
He does, and it's just, I don't know, the hair just looks wrong.
Yeah, it's not, and the facial hair as well. It's more of a beard now that he has. So
Yeah, he's got the beard now, so
He looks heaps better.
He's got a nice little fade going now.
Good looking guy.
It's better than like the weird mutton chops he had at one point though. So
Yeah, not great.
Also, did you
Go through that stage.
did you notice the old school ring bell?
I didn't.
It was really weird. It was different.
It's a good little pick up by here.
What?
No, you picked that up really well. It's good.
Got an eagle eye.
Also, they were chanting USA at Rusev when he tagged in. I thought they were chanting Rusev Day, and I'm like, oh, how do they know this hasn't happened yet?
They're ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Do you remember the Rusev, Ziggler, Lana, and Summer Rae feud that was going on at this point?
I do.
Oh, it was so dog shit.
Do you like how they just dropped it all?
Did you like how Rusev throws a fish at Lana at one point? It was so bad. I don't think there's a single person that liked that feud.
I've also got. Did you catch during the match? Rusev was just talking in whatever language. What is it? Bulgarian.
I don't know if that's an actual language.
He's speaking directly to Randy Orton, and he just says, "I don't understand." And I don't know about you, but I wrote down what he says to Sheamus after the match.
Are you talking about his promo that he cuts after the match?
Yeah, I wrote it down. Do you want me to read it out?
Give it to me word for word.
You stupid! You ruined the whole match. I killed you. I could have beat them myself. You useless as Lana.
His promo on the mic was just so weird. Like, I don't even know what the point of that was. And then Sheamus gets up and Bro kicks him, and then he gets on the mic and tells him to kiss his ass. Like,
kiss my arse.
It's like, it's such a house show moment. I was surprised that they were actually doing that, like with them streaming this on the network.
Do you reckon that was they were just trying to stretch it out a little bit? Time?
Definitely, yeah. There was a lot of little moments like that where they were trying to kind of stretch it out a bit longer. I also wanted to bring up that I do not miss JBL being on commentary at all.
No, the commentary teams are pretty good at the moment.
JBL is so bad.
I liked JBL when it was his first run. I didn't like him when he had the second run.
He wasn't too bad in SmackDown in his first run, but
yeah, I liked how he worked with Cole.
Yeah, like he wasn't too bad then, but yeah, when he came back, I just couldn't stand him at all. Also, I have to bring this up. You two are going as the Bar for Halloween, yeah?
Da Bar.
Well, it's funny you should mention that because I literally wrote down in this same section, can we talk about Halloween costume ideas? And I wrote Sheamus ? Sonata ? or Chris Jericho WCW.
I'm still voting for Sheamus.
Yeah.
Well, Ben Pricey, he's going to have to shave his beautiful hair.
I'll tell you
Or he can wear a Speedo skin color cap.
Yeah, I don't want to cut my hair, but I'm committed to doing it either way. So
And he can be the Thwith Cyborg.
Yeah, if we can get the cap so I can look bald, we'll go as the Bar.
We'll get you a mouth guard as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Get you boys a couple of kilts.
Yeah.
So, do we have star ratings for that from you guys?
I didn't do starter ratings this week.
I never do star ratings. I just pull them out my ass.
Do you want me to... if you want to just think about it, I've given this 3 stars.
Wow.
I'll give my reason. It's a perfect opener. The crowd is so hot in it. And I love Randy Orton.
Wow.
You're an old school Evolution mark.
Yeah, I know. He's probably the first wrestler I ever loved.
It's a good choice.
I'd probably go at maybe a 2 3/4 for this match. I thought it was actually pretty entertaining. I don't usually like Ziggler or Orton. And yeah, even Sheamus I'm kind of down on. Rusev is the only one of the 4 in this match that I really actually properly care about. But I thought, yeah, it was a solid match for just under 9 minutes. And I reckon it's probably slightly above the kind of thrown together tag match you'd see on Raw or SmackDown, which, I mean, you can't complain if you're getting that on this random network special. So yeah, 2 3/4. What about you, Pricey?
I think the crowd helped as well. Like if that's on Raw in
100%,
somewhere random, the crowd's not into it. It's probably not as good, but yeah, you're probably right. 2.5 ish. The finish was good. Super kick into the RKO, popped everybody. Yeah, nothing to complain
Everybody's
about.
happy.
Yeah.
Randy must pose.
I have something like that later, but I'll get to that when we get to it.
So after the match, we get a promo package that recaps what happened on the last episode of Monday Night Raw. We then
Did you just watch the promo properly?
the one about Kane.
Yeah. Did you notice Seth Rollins when he drops the title?
I do remember that bit, but
I have here. It really reminded me in The Simpsons when I think it's Nelson and Bart, they're friends, and he smashes his camera. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. Yeah.
Because he's pushing Bart, and then he smashes his camera, and then it made me just like the look on Seth Rollins' face. It was like, "Look what you made me do." I thought of that.
That's a deep cut Simpsons reference. Most people aren't gonna get that. That's like from a real later season.
I know, but it just stuck out to me so much.
I don't get that. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if I've seen that. So.
Just think of Nelson bullying someone, and he smashes his own camera because of he was bullying.
Oh,
It's pretty much what Seth Rollins is doing.
It's when Bart goes to his party.
I might have seen that actually.
Yeah, it is the party episode. Yes.
Chuck on Super
That's the one.
Simpsons Saturday, and you might catch it.
Yeah, this Saturday, if anyone wants to come over to my place, we'll be watching The Simpsons on Fox 8. Join me. DM me at Evil Brody Price.
But hey, at Bella's Bliss, you know where to head this Saturday.
Are you guys fans of split personality gimmicks?
I don't mind the Kane one here, actually.
Because I just said E.G. Festus.
No, I didn't like Festus. I did like the Kane one, but Festus, I can't say I did.
Wow. Big LG, you didn't like him as Festus?
Luke Gallows, I can't believe he was able to turn his career around from that.
He's done a tremendous job, to be honest.
Yeah, full credit to him. That would kill most people's careers.
He's a good brother, that's why.
So we then get a backstage interview here between Renee Young and Kane. She's asking about his injured ankle. And yeah, Kane's just acting all corporate and stuff. Which leads us into our next match, which is Neville defeating Stardust via pinfall in 7 minutes and 28 seconds. Dave Meltzer gives this 2 3/4 stars.
And again, Stardust going back over to Neville's cape.
They say don't tug on Superman's cape. I don't know about Neville. I guess we'll find out. Wait. Oh my. Okay, I've seen it all now. What do you say? What do you say to this?
Is that a Bo Dallas victory lap by Stardust?
What did we think here of Cody Rhodes and Adrian Neville?
Your first note, can I say it?
You can say it. I wrote that there just for you.
I like Stardust. I'm so happy with that in there. Thank you.
Yeah, I put that in there just so you could do that, the impression of Yujiro, but I actually, I didn't like Stardust at all.
Well,
Yeah, that's what I figured. I think you've put it there just for that, and you don't actually like Stardust, but still, good note. You've done
I have no notes because this match just sucked.
Yeah, I didn't really like this match.
I couldn't get into it at all. It felt like a WWE live event show, and it's just everything was just very house showy kind of match. And
I
don't know.
I heard that Stardust reminds me of Cody Rhodes. I don't know,
He
just
might be
kind of looks the
onto
same. Like the
Might be
paint
onto
started to come off, and he he just reminded me of Cody.
Yeah, and really weirdly, the commentary kept referring to him as Cody Rhodes. I don't know if that was like a botch or something.
even the crowd was chanting it.
Yeah, I don't know. That maybe Cody Rhodes was in the crowd or something.
Yeah, that's what it was. I actually haven't seen Stardust in a while as well, which is trying to, maybe Cody kidnapped him or something. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, it's whatever happened to that Cody Rhodes.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't have a lot of notes for that match either, to be honest.
Yeah, I didn't have a lot of notes for this match. I did think I wasn't as down on the match as you, Nat, but I thought it was a solid match. But it's definitely the kind of match that if it took place on Raw or maybe even SmackDown, it would go like 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes tops.
Yeah.
So I thought it's kind of nice to see them get to extend it out a little bit. But yeah, it's nothing special. It's, especially considering who's in the ring and what they're capable of. It's just a pretty average match.
Chances are we're going to see Neville on the Indies or something soon, and they'll probably have a match with Cody, and they'll probably tear it down. So
Yeah, guarantee
we
it will be a million times better than any of these matches they had.
He has that 90-day no compete, so should be over soon.
But one thing you've got in your notes there is Cody going all in on the gimmick. First of all in, if that's a pun, well done.
It's definitely a pun.
And just like he actually genuinely went all like he went to like media, what do they call those, like media row and all that.
Yeah.
Like he would go dressed as Stardust with the paint and all. So I mean, he put everything into it, so you can't really fault him for that.
My favorite part of the gimmick was, do you remember how he changed his Cody Rhodes, like his like verified Twitter? He changed it to like @Stardust or whatever, and he created a new Twitter account where he would be like tweeting as Cody Rhodes, like he'd be like tweeting about video games and like superhero shit, and then he'd be tweeting in character on the Stardust stuff. I appreciated the effort he went to for that.
Yeah,
that's a lot of effort. That's pretty good.
Because yeah, like I followed both, and like he would tweet something from Stardust, and then like 30 minutes later he'd be like tweeting shit from like Cody Rhodes. Like there's a lot of effort went into this gimmick that ended up going nowhere, which is unfortunate for Cody.
No, he's in a better place now. That's good.
In heaven, did he die?
Cody ain't it up there, man.
I thought you would have rated this match pretty highly, Pricey, because at one point Stardust puts on Neville's cape and then goes to the top rope and attempts a double axe handle.
You got to do it off the second, brother. You got to do it off the second.
Do you know how disappointed I was when he didn't attempt a red arrow?
I didn't like. I thought he was just going to do something off the top rope. I didn't realize like he was supposed to be like acting like he was going to do a red arrow until commentary pointed it out, because he doesn't really attempt it. He just jumps off.
Yeah.
Cody could do that. He does moonsault. Surely he could do a red arrow.
I know, exactly. He does the moonsault pretty good. Do we have any star ratings for this match, guys?
Probably
I
2.
give this a gold dust out of 10.
So that's about a 2 out of 5.
Sure, why not?
I'm giving it 2 stars as well. It's not a bad match,
Yeah, it's
but
about two.
it's kind of boring.
Most.
It's not something I want to see again. So
I just think, like, I don't know. It's hard to give Neville a high rating at this point when he looks like an elf and wears a cape. Like, I don't know. I was pretty down on Neville at this point.
Yeah, he's not
King
NXT Neville.
King of the Cruiserweights.
And NXT Neville and King of the Cruiserweights Neville, big fan. But this in-between stage when he had to team with Stephen Amell, no thanks.
Mouth guard babyface Neville.
So after the match, we get a backstage interview with Paul Heyman, and he's holding 2 phones here for some reason.
I noticed that.
I'm not sure why. I like to imagine one of them's Brock's phone.
Brock doesn't know how to use it.
Paul, hold on to this. I don't know what it does. But yeah, it was really weird. Maybe he's just got a burner phone. But we then get a recap of Monday Night Raw and Paige turning her back on PCB, which is really weird because the next match is Alicia Fox, Brie Bella, and Nikki Bella defeating Becky Lynch, Charlotte, and Paige in 8 minutes and 27 seconds. Meltzer gives it 2.25 stars.
I cannot believe my teammates would do this to me. I can't believe they would leave me high and dry like that. I am their best friends. I would never, ever do anything to my teammates like that. I don't know whether I can forgive you, Charlotte and Becky.
I'm just confused, like, why is Paige still teaming with Becky and Charlotte here?
Wait, who's that? Becky Lynch, Charlotte, and who?
And Paige.
That's the submission throne, isn't it?
Paige here.
Oh, I really want to, like, bust out a quote from that scene from Fighting With My Family, but I can't remember it, so...
I stopped paying attention when that came on during WrestleMania weekend.
I saw that way too much. But yeah, I'm so confused. Like, we saw that Paige had turned her back on, like, Becky and Charlotte, like, multiple times at this point. Why are they still teaming together? Like, why do they still trust her?
They needed the peanut.
You know what they say? Peanut can never leave butter and... What did you say?
Corn. Corn.
The corn-fed colossus.
Corn-fed meathead.
I just had that at the end when Becky and Charlotte jump off the ropes, that pretty much they're the heels because they're just resorting to her tactics.
I don't know, an eye for an eye makes the world go blind.
Also, Paige, I'm just going to quickly point this out. When Paige tagged herself in, she was in the middle of the...
She was halfway down the ring, yeah, I noticed that.
And she still fucked it up.
And the ref was confused at it. Like, the ref was like, should I let her get in here?
And then she clapped her hands.
She did too. Grab the tag rope. What are you doing?
Randy was grabbing the tag rope in the first tag match.
Yeah, it's real to me.
But yeah, as we mentioned, the ending here is Charlotte and Becky refusing to tag in Paige, which something Paige did to them earlier on Raw. This leads to Nikki Bella hitting the rack attack. The worst part of this match is when Paige gets on the mic at the end. Surely you guys hated that as well.
Terrible.
Paige just can't talk. Like, she's so bad on the mic. Even as GM now, she is terrible.
Where does this rank with like top 10 tag team betrayals?
Top 10 anime betrayals.
This is definitely up there.
Yeah.
This is like Seth Rollins turning on the Shield.
Just about.
I reckon did RoboCop ever turn on Sting? Because if RoboCop ever turned on Sting, that would probably be slightly ahead of this. But this is definitely top 2 or 3 of all time.
Yeah, I was shocked.
So are we going to mention Alicia Fox here?
Alicia Fox.
I did have a little mention here. This is just in general about Alicia Fox. How is she still in the company?
Well, I have here that how is Alicia Fox the veteran in this match?
Former Divas champion, brother.
And I also had when they made the entrance, they had the Bella shirts, Team Bella.
Yeah.
And Alicia Fox conveniently cropped hers so it just said Team. I thought that was hilarious that she just didn't want to be a part of it. And I've also got a bit of Charlotte for you. Did anyone notice that her rack attack was a bit smaller?
I can't say that I noticed it, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I didn't really know. Sorry.
So for some reason that stood out to me. I'm really disappointed that it did.
I just want to point out a little bit of trivia here. Every single woman in this match has been either Divas champion or Women's champion as of 2018.
The Revolution.
Unbelievable. Brie Bella, my favourite Divas champion of all time, personally.
Eve Torres.
Yeah, I'm a Maurice kind of guy.
Yeah, Eve Torres crumping to R-Truth's second theme. Yeah, I love it.
That's a triple threat match we should see at Evolution. That'd be...
Tear down the house. Do we have some star ratings for that one?
Well, what I thought about this match was that it was sloppy, boring, and I was glad when it finished. There was so many spots here that they completely botched that were just garbage. I would genuinely give this like a dud rating if I was Meltzer.
Probably, yeah. I'm not as mean as Brandon. Probably a 1.
I gave it a 1.5. I don't know. It wasn't great. Everything was sloppy, and it had Nikki Bella's pretty good, and then the other team's pretty good. And it just didn't work.
Yeah, considering like one team has 3 really good workers on it, and then Nikki Bella is at least like solid.
She's very solid.
Terrible match. But yeah,
just disappointing for the Divas Revolution.
I know. Yeah, Stephanie McMahon would have been real unhappy that the Divas Revolution hit a speed bump here.
I should have had Team Bad in there.
Oh, Team. Didn't Bad stand for something? Didn't it?
Beautiful and dangerous.
That's the one.
Also, just quickly before we go past this, was there a "We Want Sasha" chant during this match?
There might have been. I couldn't make out a lot of the chants that the MSG crowd were chanting.
It wouldn't surprise me.
It might have been around the time where like they were like everyone was like in on Sasha, but they were like focusing on Charlotte.
Oh, should have had Team Bad out there.
Absolutely.
So after that match, we get another recap, this time of what happened between Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns on Raw and SmackDown, which leads us into Kevin Owens defeating Chris Jericho via pinfall to retain the Intercontinental Championship. This is over in 8 minutes and 9 seconds, and Meltzer gives it 3 1/4 stars.
Could this be it? Whoa! Reversal! And again, Jericho trying to turn over the tip. Owens into the roll-up. Shoulders down, and that's it. Way.
Jericho cuts a promo before this match because it's his 25th anniversary in the wrestling industry, as we mentioned earlier. I thought that this promo was long and boring, and I thought the match wasn't any better either.
I think it was one of the better matches. I don't know if that says a lot about the card, but they could have. I didn't get a lot of time looking at that. 8 minutes for these two, who are both very good. And we all know what happens down the track with their storyline, and they have better matches than this. But I mean, it was better than some of the other matches on the card.
But saying that 8 minutes, why didn't they go full throttle? Like it was just like they were stuck in the first gear the whole time.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like that's probably on Jericho. Like, I don't know. Jericho at times just looks like so bad in the ring. Was this like a time where he'd taken time off?
Yeah. You mentioned that he teamed Ambrose and Reigns. That was. Like
so he had been back for a little bit.
No, that was like a big return, though, wasn't it? That was his return.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah.
So it wouldn't like before that. That would have been like his comeback at that match.
Yeah, because I feel like with Jericho, like when he takes time off, usually like his first like few matches are like really sloppy. Like when he had his feud with AJ, those first matches that they had together were real sloppy. Every time he comes back, I feel like it takes him a little bit to just regain his footing.
Warm up the engine a little bit.
Well, I will say the crowd was very hot for the finish.
Yeah, that's
true. They were.
Yeah, I don't know. Just for their match, I didn't love it that much. I gave it 2.5 stars.
I would probably go maybe 1 3/4, maybe. Like, I'm a huge Kevin Owens mark, but I didn't enjoy this match that much. I also thought that Jericho's beard is bad, and he has sloppy man boobies here. Just had to point that out. I took 3 notes during this match, and that was one of them.
What says you, $1 Million Man?
I'll match you on a 2.5, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, get a room, you two.
We're in cahoots.
You don't have to ask me twice, mate.
But yeah, there's not a whole lot to say about that match. It kind of just comes and goes. And I thought Meltzer giving that 3 1/4 stars, that's a huge overrating there.
Looking at the rest of the card, they could have given these guys a fair bit more time.
They really
Sorry,
could.
but how can you give 3 1/4 stars for an 8-minute match?
Oh, he makes it up as he goes along. And it's Jericho's in it. And I'm pretty sure Jericho is like one of the dudes that feeds him information.
Yeah, 100%. He always has him on the podcast.
Like, but before Benoit went crazy and killed his family and shit, he used to feed Meltzer like heaps of information as well. So like, I feel like he favors people that does that to him.
100%. That's been the scuttlebug all the time.
Also, his ratings like don't make any sense. I still can't get over when he didn't give Bate versus Dunn at TakeOver 5 stars because it was too short, and he gave matches that were shorter at the G1 this year 5 stars. So Dave Meltzer can rotate on it.
No, yeah, there's no integrity.
I'm a Wade Keller guy.
Yeah, no, Brandon, take over. You should be the new Dave Meltzer.
I'm a Sam Roberts Wrestling Podcast guy.
I'm actually a Pat McAfee guy.
No.
Sam Roberts changed his show up, and he doesn't have what's his name, Howard Finkel, as his announcer anymore.
Oh, I'm not listening anymore then.
It's disappointing. It is now time for the Sam Roberts Wrestling Interview.
Didn't know you had a Howard Finkel impression.
That's actually the first time I've tried.
Yeah, not bad.
Just did it. You said it from the heart.
Yeah.
So after that match finishes, we get an ad for Breaking Ground here. And this is really just more filler and advertising. But I wanted to ask both of you, did you end up ever watching Breaking Ground?
I usually like watching these little network shows. I don't remember if I watched that one, but it seems like something that I would have watched.
Yeah, I can't believe
the ad.
I can't believe I've never watched this either. Like, I don't know, it seems like up my alley, but apparently there's one thing I haven't watched.
I've actually seen Breaking Ground, and it's probably one of the better things that the network's produced.
Oh, really?
I mean, I haven't watched a lot of the network stuff. I've basically just watched Breaking Ground and then the Monday Night Wars series, so
Yeah.
I can't really judge it all, but yeah, it's actually really cool to see it.
The Kevin Owens, what is it, 365 or whatever?
Yeah.
It's really sad after his WrestleMania match with Jericho. Vince hated it, and he thought it was good,
Yeah, well,
and he got really
Vince
he was
has
really
no fucking
depressed
idea,
about it.
man.
But then the match Kevin Owens thought was shit. Vince loved it.
Which match was that?
Maybe the one before it, or the after it. I don't know. I can't remember.
Oh, well, you know what they say. Vince is a fucking idiot.
Oh. Maybe this company would be better after Vince McMahon's dead.
It's not. It's going to be taken over by his idiotic daughter and his doofus son-in-law. The rest of his stupid family.
Jeez, Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon get a bit of a... What about Vince's brother?
Vince has a
Is he
brother.
a brother?
What? Is that not known?
Who's his brother, Hornswoggle?
Vince has a brother that's just not into the wrestling business.
Oh, fuck him.
You
He's a
reckon he's got a
coward.
bit of money?
What?
Do you reckon he's loaded?
I have no idea.
I want to meet him.
It was mentioned in passing on the Bruce Pritchard podcast.
What are you going to say? Someone told you, just in a conversation.
Talk to him.
You were at a little party, and they're like, oh, do you know Vince McMahon has a brother?
So after the ad for Breaking Ground, we cut to a close-up shot of the Big Show backstage, and here he's supposed to be looking angry, but I thought he just kind of looks like he wants to have a cry here. So, and I don't know what the whole point of that was, but that quickly cuts away to our next match, which is the Dudley Boys defeating the New Day via disqualification in a WWE Tag Team Championship match. This goes just 6 minutes and 39 seconds, and Meltzer gives it 2.5 stars.
Look at this young man, Xavier Woods. A quiet man, a humble man, an introverted man, a human being. They put me through a table! For shame.
What did we think of the third tag match of the night?
Good question.
It was doo-doo.
Yeah.
You thought it was that bad?
Well, I'm just going to... you don't have it here in your notes, but I read everywhere that it had the same finish as Night of Champions. And I didn't believe it, but I went and watched it, and that's so disappointing. That's so lazy.
I kind of just assumed it was the same finish when I saw that it was via disqualification again.
Happens the exact same way. It's just...
Hey, it's hard coming up with unique finishes every night, man. Give them a break.
I know, but... I don't know. Save the tables.
One thing I will mention is, do you guys like tricep meat?
Tricep meat!
Just Xavier Woods on the outside just shouting about tricep meat while Big E was in the ring. It's just very entertaining.
I'm not into tricep meat. I'm more into Xavier Woods triple threat matches, if you know what I mean.
Wrestle Hunks.
Can I just quickly? So the infamous Paige video features her, Brad Maddox, and Xavier Woods. This card also manages to feature Brad Maddox, Paige, and Xavier Woods.
Oh, jeez.
Do you reckon it was filmed later that night?
It's possible.
The infamous video?
I don't
It's
want.
very possible. It's very possible.
I can't believe we mentioned it. Four episodes it took.
Yeah, we did take a while to get to it.
Yeah. There you
I
go.
think we should do a Wrestle Hunks episode on those videos. Do you know more shit from that just keeps leaking?
Does it?
Yeah, I'll see like every week like WWE divas keep getting their stuff like leaked hardcore, and like every like month or so like more stuff from Paige gets leaked.
All right, let's quickly end this podcast, shall we?
Oh, Jesus.
No, I'm kidding.
Wrap it up early. So back to the match. I wanted to know, are the New Day heels at this point? Like,
Yes.
Yeah, they haven't turned face yet.
so this is at the start of their run.
Not the start, but it was
But it's
everyone
early
just. It's New Day. It's New Day sucks.
It's getting to the point where like they're becoming so entertaining that people start cheering for them.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So I was confused a bit at the start. I'm like, are they just heel for this like thing with the Dudleys or?
Save the tables. Save the tables.
Man, I don't know how they got over when they were doing that.
I
It was
mean,
a tricep meet, bro.
Those antics. So I personally thought that this match was average. I didn't think it was really, much to get excited about. And like Nat said, same finish as Night of Champions. It only got 6 minutes and 39 seconds, which is the shortest match outside of Big Show Lesnar. So there's really not much time for them to do anything.
Yeah. Now that I know that what Nat said about the Night of Champions pay-per-view, that makes it even worse for me.
Minus 5 stars.
Yeah. If it's in the Tokyo Dome, I'd only get a 4.5.
I'm going to ask you boys, what did you think of the Dudley Boys' return?
I did not care for it at all.
Yeah.
100% agree with you, boys. It was a big failure.
I mean, cool pop when they came out in Brooklyn, but
That's about it.
that's about it. Yeah.
What about when they retired and they were like teasing that Bubba Ray was going to have a Bully Ray run?
Did they?
Did they? I thought the club just beat him up and that was it.
No, they teased it for a bit, like that Bubba was going to turn on Devon. And then it came to the night where they were like retiring and people like, he was like acting kind of like he was going to turn on him. And then the club just did what they did.
Yeah, and remember when he retired in Ring of Honor?
Yeah.
Then we watched that one pay-per-view and for some reason he was beating up those guys.
Well, who was he beating up?
I have no idea.
Hopefully it
And
wasn't
then
Cheeseburger.
didn't Flip come out or something? Yeah, it might have been Cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger, maybe? Yeah, it might have been. I can't remember.
Are you talking about the Philippe brothers?
Yes.
No one's talking about them. Trust me.
Hey, that person, who was that on Twitter that was tweeting about them?
One of the MCW marks.
Yeah, one of them losers.
They might listen and they might stop after this week, man.
Chino Gambino might listen.
Oh, well,
Bullet Club Zone.
more power to him. Bully Ray was my favourite TNA World Champion, so...
He had that feud with Brooke Hogan.
What?
Do you not remember this?
I don't know.
Do you know this, Brandon?
Yeah, I remember it vaguely.
He married Brooke Hogan to get in like Hogan's good books,
Kayfabe or?
and then yes, kayfabe, sorry, and married her, and then just fucked her off. Well, said see ya,
So,
and he had the world title.
just like that.
But
You know what they say? Hogan knows best.
the little hunksters. So star ratings. What do we got? I got
hold on.
one. I've got a 1.5.
I got an idea. T-shirt idea.
Well, here we go.
Hunkermania.
That's
Get it done.
Yeah.
Get it done.
The red with the yellow, 100%.
I'd wear that.
So would I.
Yeah,
couldn't even notice.
Yeah.
It's one letter. Oh,
Let-
think of the money we'll sell.
I might mock this up during the week.
Oh, thank you, Pricey. I finally did something for the podcast.
It did a thing.
Just looking at it, you can download the font for the Hulkamania
Geez, yeah.
shirt. 100% I can make Hulkamania.
That's easy then.
Once we get
Okay,
10,000 combined followers, we'll get a pro wrestling tee store, and we're set for life.
Yeah, watch out, guys. Watch this space.
Maybe you should just post a mock-up of it and then tell people to retweet it or something.
Please retweet this. I want a more connected
Yes.
wrestling community.
So I give this 1.5 stars. What do you boys give it?
Probably about the same.
Yeah, about 1.5. It's whatever. It's them rehashing what they've already done. They really aren't trying anything new here.
Also, I think, we'll get to this. I'll get to this a little bit later as well. But it felt like a little bit like a house show. How they had, they wanted the heels to keep the titles, but then the baby faces had to, send them unhappy somewhat to end the match. So they had to put them through the table and whatnot.
Yeah, so we actually haven't spoken about the actual finish so far. It's the Dudley Boys hitting a 3D on Kofi, but then Xavier Woods dives in to break up the pin, and because he's the man that's not wrestling that night, they get disqualified. And then they kind of try to beat down the Dudleys, but they fight them off. And it's Woods that gets put through the table with a 3D. It's to keep the fans happy.
May I have another volley? Why didn't Spike Dudley come back?
Spike Dudley might be dead.
Imagine that if Spike Dudley came back. That would have cool. Like 3-on-3.
Yeah.
Imagine if Spike Dudley was on Spike TV.
Imagine if Spike Dudley and Taz won the tag team titles. Oh wait, they did.
Spike Dudley's not dead. He's just 48 years old.
Jeez. We'll probably never think of him above the age of like 25.
Do you reckon Spike Dudley's just got like a massive rig?
Gee, just a real surprise packet. Is that what you're thinking?
It's real, just huge hog. Oh, he's bald these days. That's disappointing.
We'll learn something new every day, boys.
So after that match, we get into the the match that the special is basically named after.
I've been waiting for this.
Brock Lesnar defeating the Big Show via pinfall in 4 minutes and 8 seconds. Meltzer gives it 2.5 stars.
We're going to see it at 5. That's all. No way.
What did we think of the match that Nat was waiting on pins and needles for? At Stuart's party, he was just like, fuck, can this party end already? I want to get home and watch this.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. This fucking sucked. So bad.
Really?
Oof.
Well,
how many matches has Lesnar had since returning to beat up Cena that were actually good?
At least 5.
I kind of like the Undertaker matches. They tell a good story.
Yeah, I don't know. Some of the Undertaker matches have been real bad, though.
The AJ versus Lesnar.
That one's like the only one recently that he's had that I've actually enjoyed.
It should have been Jinder versus Lesnar, but we'll move on.
Anyway, did you have thoughts on that? Did I interrupt you? I wasn't sure.
I'll just go through my notes quickly. It was the good quote that they still use sometimes. The nightmare of Suplex City is going to work.
Nice.
I also wrote down, why do they feel the need to put Lesnar's name attached to this? Like WWE MSG, Big Show versus Brock Lesnar, when this is the result, 4 minutes.
Oh, Brock Lesnar's the marquee star, brother.
And also, do you get into the start of the match in your notes?
What do you mean, the start of the match?
Just how Big Show comes out firing.
Not really. I was just... They kind of do that a lot with whenever Lesnar faces a big guy.
He just ragdolls Lesnar out of the ring and then gives him...
They seem to do that.
He had his finishers all stored up at the start of the match. And then Brock Lesnar does what he does. He kicks out everything.
Yeah,
That's
he
all I've
does
got.
3 chokeslams in a row and goes to pin him and then nothing. And then I had here, when Lesnar hits his first suplex on Big Show, the crowd pops like crazy for it. It's like they're seeing Hogan body slam Andre for the first time.
Yep. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say something, Frosty.
Sorry. I don't have a lot of thoughts on this match, to be completely honest.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't great. I said here, I would gladly live out the rest of my life without having to see another Big Show match. I'm so sick of him.
I chose this for a reason.
No, you chose well.
If I ever have to see Big Show come back for like his 58th return, I'm done, man.
Hey, I want his workout plan.
Just punch some heavy bags in the gym. And
Punch the cold meat.
Back.
I'll give my thoughts after you go through the finish. Yeah?
So the finish here, it sees Lesnar, he hits a German on the Big Show. He goes to pick him up for the F5, but almost drops him on his head. So Lesnar then does another German and it hits the F5, gets the win. And then after that, Lesnar looks like he's going to leave, but he comes back into the ring, attacks Big Show some more, suplexes him, and hits another F5.
What a chump.
Yeah, so apart from, like we mentioned, the AJ match, I feel like all of his matches that he's had a bunch of finishes that like sort of stagger him, and then like suplexes and an F5. Like there's not, I don't know, I'm so sick of seeing the same thing every time Lesnar comes out.
That's the gimmick, brother.
Literally the 3 choke slams with like the first 2 Lesnar gets back up and kind of staggers around is identical to all the matches Roman's had with him where he hits a bunch of Superman punches and he won't go down.
Yeah. He just staggers for a bit, and that's like he might hit like a 5th one and then try to pin him and he kicks out.
Yeah, it's just it's been done so many times. I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
We need him to go away. We need him to get in another motorbike accident like he did in like 2005.
Jesus. Well, do we have any star ratings for that, boy?
Oh, fucking Big Show diarrhea out of 10.
I haven't done this before. This will be the first time. That's a dud for me.
Yeah, I have written down 1 star, but I think I'm going to just change that to a dud. Just thinking about it more now, it's pretty disappointing when you think about it. That's supposed to be the attraction of the show, and for one, it's not even the main event.
Yeah.
It's real. This match just basically exists to put Lesnar over as a monster again, but it's 2015, and at this point, he doesn't really need to be put over as a monster, really. Like, I'm just having a look at his, like, all his matches since he came back. And, like, yeah, he broke the streak. He's beaten Triple H, beaten CM Punk.
Like,
He beat Heath Slater.
He'd already beaten the Big Show, I'm saying. He beat him at Royal Rumble in 2014. Yeah. Beat Cena again. Beat Cena and Seth Rollins. Like, I don't know. He doesn't need that.
Yeah, it was just unnecessary.
He beat Kofi.
He beat Kofi Kingston.
I mean, obviously, it was just for the name. That's the reason he was on it. And they needed an opponent for him.
Yeah, just you don't need to put him over even more.
And then they had the unnecessary post-match beatdown that that didn't need to be there either.
Yeah.
Just quietly though, Brock Lesnar did defeat Alberto Del Rio on a house show in 2015, but by disqualification, so he didn't win the United States title.
Oh, damn it.
Imagine if he had won the US title. That would have been crazy.
Yeah, US Open Challenge every Monday.
Oh, so that does us for the main attraction there. But I wanted to ask you, do you think this match in the Garden was better than Lesnar's last match in the Garden at WrestleMania 20?
I mean, there's wrestling.
It's a tough question because there's actually wrestling in this one, but it's not great wrestling.
But also, this card is centered around that. And WrestleMania 20, that's just another match.
It wasn't just another match to Pricey. It was a damn Goldberg mark.
Oh, that was a bloody slobber knocker with Stone Cold as the ref.
At the time watching that, like I said, how that's the first Mania. So he's won that match. I'm not a mark. I'm not reading these reports that Goldberg and Lesnar are leaving. He just didn't show up on Raw. I don't recall anything being said. Years I was waiting. I was like, Goldberg, is he going to come back? No.
Why are they paying Goldberg to just sit at home?
Don't they mention something about one of them leaving?
They might.
In the commentary?
They might, but I don't remember it.
Pricey was screaming too loud to hear that.
Get him, Goldberg, get him.
I think it was more everyone knew Lesnar was leaving. It was like everyone just assumed Goldberg was leaving too. And they were right, because he had a 1-year contract.
I didn't and I was upset for a long time.
That's wounds take a long time to heal when something like that.
He got his Universal title run, so it's all good.
Do you reckon we're hitting the time of this card with all the matches from WrestleMania 20 till now of Lesnar?
Wait, what do you mean?
All of Lesnar's matches timed is at the same amount of time as this card.
You reckon?
I reckon.
I don't know.
Nah, he's had some longer matches.
Yeah, a couple of those street fights and whatnot with Cena and Triple H.
Yeah, the one where he gets taken to the back for 6 hours.
Yeah.
So after that match, we get a recap of both SummerSlam and Night of Champions, and shout out to Jon Stewart here, being involved in the finish of a world title match on a pay-per-view.
Oh, don't remind me of that, please.
Hey, he was just making sure that Nature Boy kept his his record.
Yeah, good point.
Where was that dipshit around when Cena tied it anyway? Fuck Jon Stewart. So we head on to the main event then, which is John Cena defeating Seth Rollins via pinfall to retain the United States Championship in a steel cage match. This goes for 22 minutes and 40 seconds, and also gives it 4 stars.
Trying to take advantage again, scaling the cage. Rollins making his way to the top. Cena's hurt. There's no way Cena's going to be able to get up. Rollins, he's got 1 foot over. All Rollins has to do is... Wait a minute! I think the safest place for Seth might be back in the cage. Seth, your worst nightmare has just returned.
Personally, I thought that was pretty spot on by Meltzer, because this is actually a damn good match.
I agree. I had 4 stars too.
Ooh.
What'd you have, Pricey?
I didn't have stars, but it was a very good match. Maybe 3.5, 4. Yeah.
You were seeing stars after this match. It was that good.
Oh, baby. Yeah, absolutely.
This is a good pay-per-view worthy match.
Yeah, that's what I said as well. I was like, this is a really good match. Definitely pay-per-view quality. And I thought this match alone, single-handedly justifies this whole event being a network special. Come on, don't give me donuts for that. Surely you both agree.
Yeah, no, it was a decent match, and I've looked at one of your notes and I've already just missed it. Yeah, the pinfall submission in a cage match, it shouldn't happen. It just doesn't make sense.
I absolutely despise that.
Well, I was just thinking it was pretty obvious that they were giving Cena the win because Rollins wasn't defending the WWE title.
Yeah, they wanted to send...
and it's not like they were just going to give him the double title again.
Yeah.
Send everyone home happy.
So, I don't know.
Also, Seth when he came out, his entrance, it's kind of weird not hearing "Burn It Down" when he comes out.
I hate that "Burn It Down."
I've gotten so used to it that
I disagree because I've only heard that once.
Oh, you don't...
I think it was for SummerSlam.
Watch the product, will you?
I don't know about you guys, but I just really don't care about Seth Rollins anymore. And I wrote here, this is a throwback to when I actually really gave a fuck about Seth Rollins. I was a huge Seth Rollins mark. And now I just couldn't give a shit.
No, his in-ring work is still good. So some of his matches recently have been pretty enjoyable, I think. But I get what you mean. Character-wise, his heel run was the best by a mile.
And he doesn't wear gloves anymore, man.
Yeah, I know.
I wrote here, you become at least 60% cooler when you wear gloves. Gloves are some dope shit.
I'll have to buy some.
Booker T, AJ Styles, they would be nothing without the gloves. Heidenreich, Kane, Undertaker.
The Gemini twins.
Do you want to know something, Nat?
Yeah,
Before you said that, the first person that came to my head when I was trying to think of other people that wear gloves was Heidenreich.
See, the Gemini twins wore them.
The Gemini twins pioneered wearing gloves, I reckon.
Sylvester Turkey.
The Gemini twins, were they really twins? Because Doug and Danny Basham weren't. And that's
They were-
Yes, they were
twins,
actually
yeah.
twins.
They were? Okay.
Yeah.
That confused me. WWE, what are you doing?
Nah, the Simon system does cloning now.
Did either of you notice Cena's hat throw to the crowd?
I did not.
Didn't know.
It was really impressive because like the cage was already lowered, and he ran into the ring with like his hat still on. So he did his normal like run along the ropes, and then he threw the hat, and then he threw it through the cage door, and it went perfectly through there into the crowd.
Respect.
I was just really impressed by that. That could have easily gone wrong, and instead he's got a real good flick of the wrist.
He's played a bit of the old baseball. Am I right, American listeners? Huh?
I don't know.
actually
Softball?
I think it's all those hours doing the old five knuckle shuffle, if you know what I mean.
Cricket?
So as I said, I think this match is really good, and I think just overall, Cena and Seth have ridiculously good chemistry together.
Yeah, very good chemistry.
I don't know
Even after he broke Cena's nose, they still worked well together.
That was an iconic moment, actually. I'm glad that he did it.
One person that's not is Jack, because when we had the live event that I think it was the four of us were going to.
Yeah.
Cena didn't come out to the tour because he got his nose broken like that week.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
he was spitting chips. He could not believe it.
Hey, Shawn Michaels was there at least.
Yeah, we only got to saw him. We missed the start though, man.
Yeah, we missed the
Because
start.
that fucking crane fell over in the city, so we didn't get to see who is Finn versus
Neville.
Yeah, Neville.
Yeah, we missed one. We missed a good one.
Oh, fucking cranes, man. You never know when they're gonna get you.
It's always when you least expect it.
I just wanted to mention here, Cena's tornado DDT from the top rope was actually insane.
He can do some stuff. Cena.
He
Can do a wrestle.
And I legitimately popped when he hit that. I was not expecting it at all. Also, in this match, the lights over the ring go out a bunch randomly. That prompted me to ask, was the lighting guy high during this match, or... I kept thinking Kane was coming out. The lights kept going out. Oh, Kane's coming now. And no, it's random. They're going to wrestle in the dark for a little bit.
Jesus.
Yeah, get a little mood lighting, you know?
So the finish for this match, it's Rollins is about to escape, and then Kane's music hits, and he actually does come to the ring. Seth misses a frog splash from the top of the cage because he decides he doesn't want to jump out anymore because Kane might attack him. He misses it, so Cena hits the AA and gets the win. After the match, Kane enters the cage, chokeslams Seth, and hits the tombstone. Did either of you notice that the ref just absolutely bolt when Kane gets in the cage?
I did not.
Oh, he shits his dacks and just runs.
Did you hear they said, big match, John does it again? And I just wrote, yeah, because he fucking needed Kane's help to win.
That's true.
I wrote down that felt like a Raw moment at the end, like a Raw steel cage.
Yeah,
when they have a cage match on Raw.
I don't know why Seth didn't just jump down. You might have got attacked, but he got attacked anyway.
I've also noticed you haven't written down in 1 month's time, almost exactly, Seth Rollins gets injured in that Kane match on the house show.
Is that in? Do you have the exact date where he gets
November
injured?
4th. November 4th.
Wow, you've done more research than I did.
I did. Hardcore.
That's impressive.
It's bloody my show.
I didn't realize he was that close to tearing his knee. I'll blame it on the frog splash spot here. I reckon that's where he did it. It was hanging on by a thread.
Exactly.
I have Kane must pose in my notes.
Nice.
Kane's always going over.
Yeah, he's fucking up.
Get the fucking shovel out.
Yeah, burying people left and right.
So that does it for the card. I was gonna ask match of the night, but I feel like we're gonna unanimously say it's the main event, right?
Yep.
I think what will be a lot harder to determine though is the worst match of the night. What do we reckon here?
Lesnar Big Show.
Yeah, it comes back to last week when we said, I said that the main event was the worst match, not because it was the worst, the actual worst match, but because of the expectations that you put on a match being the main event and this being a show built around it. to be as bad as it was.
Yeah, agreed.
Worse for me.
Personally, I can't go past the 6-woman tag. That I hated that match so much. I had to put up with a shitty Page promo after it as well. It's just nothing redeemable about it. Like, I got a little bit of enjoyment out of Brock Lesnar and Big Show, but zero enjoyment for me out of PCB and Team Bella.
I like seeing Foxy Baby. No?
Alicia Fox.
Fox.
So, what are our overall thoughts on WWE live from Madison Square Garden 2015?
It's different, so I guess it's a good change up. But I don't know, it's very average.
Thank God for that main event.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, without the main event, this would definitely be like absolutely terrible. But yeah, that saves it a lot. And I do like it's kind of got a different atmosphere, and it's good. Like nice seeing an event come from Madison Square Garden again after it was 4 years since the last one. So overall, I don't mind it, even though the matches aren't great because of those reasons. Yeah.
We haven't seen a Madison Square Garden show since then. So how many is that? That's like 7 years without one, apart from this. So I mean, that kind of sucks.
Yeah, we haven't seen a proper show since 2011, and I don't know if we're going to see one anytime soon.
Yeah.
Even with Ring of Honor running that show there, I still don't think that's going to convince Vince McMahon to actually run a show there.
Yeah, probably not.
So that leads us to the aftermath of the event. The next pay-per-view event would be Hell in a Cell 2015, held on October 25 at the Staples Center in LA. The card for that event was Cesaro. The dark match was Cesaro, Dolph Ziggler, and Neville defeating King Barrett, Rusev, and Sheamus via pinfall. Then we have on the main card Alberto Del Rio making his return to answer John Cena's United States Open Challenge, and he actually defeats Cena here in 7 minutes and 46 seconds. We then get Roman Reigns defeating Bray Wyatt in 23 minutes in a Hell in a Cell match. The New Day defeat Bubba Ray Dudley and Devon Dudley via pinfall in 8 minutes and 24 seconds to retain their tag titles. Charlotte defeats Nikki Bella via submission in 10 minutes to retain the Divas Championship. Seth Rollins defeating Kane in 14 minutes for the WWE Championship, with the stipulation that if Demon Kane loses, Corporate Kane is fired. Kevin Owens then defeats Ryback via pinfall in 5 minutes to retain the Intercontinental Championship, and Brock Lesnar defeats The Undertaker in 18 minutes in a Hell in a Cell match. I just noticed there, so like all of the titles except for Del Rio at the side, they get retained. I feel like that never happens.
It's bloody boring.
I can't believe that Cena had a match that went for 7 minutes.
Yeah,
with Del Rio.
He was injured.
Was he injured?
Apparently had a little injury, like a back injury or something.
Okay.
Because when I did this for the notes, I was shocked by that, especially because it's Del Rio's return and it's a John Cena match. I would not expect him to have a match that short. I think it actually might be. It's the second lowest red match by Meltzer on that card. The lowest is Owens and Ryback, which is shorter than that match. But yeah, that's weird to see.
Big match, John.
But thanks for listening to this episode of the Wrestle Hunks Podcast. You can find the show on Twitter at WrestleHunksPod. I'm on Twitter as @SauceMarlow. Pricey is on Twitter as @EvilBrodyPrice. And Nat is on Twitter at Nath Marlow. You can also find the show on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, YouTube, and we'll actually be able to submit to Spotify now because we're going to have 5 episodes uploaded.
Woohoo!
Because we also uploaded the intro music as an episode, so that's 5 total now.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so you can listen to us on Spotify now. All the perverts that do that. I feel like Nat's one of those weirdos that does that.
I am.
Of course you are.
He's just a pervert, that's all, in general.
Feel free to rate us on iTunes. All that stuff. Leave us a rating and tell us about how much you wish we had have mentioned Kevin Thorne on this episode.
Oh, I mean,
We didn't mention Kevin Thorne or Test.
I mean, sometimes you just need to take a week off, and then when we come back next week, I'm sure they'll be mentioned.
To be fair, it's hard to shoehorn them into a show when it's the thing you're covering is from 2015.
Yeah, that's not ideal.
It's pretty tough. But this is the part of the podcast where we each chuck up a suggestion for what we should cover for next week's show, and this will get put up in a Twitter poll. I actually don't have anything selected yet, so you two boys, why don't you throw up your suggestions?
I got Backlash 03. We get to watch the great Rock versus Goldberg. That's not great.
Ooh,
Price your mark out for that at least, though.
That's his first match in WWE, so I will mark out for that. I've seen it, but I watched that as a kid, so I probably have a bias. But I've chosen Great American Bash 2004, which is remembered for. Maybe I should have double checked this, but I feel like Mordecai is on that show.
Mordecai versus Bob Holly is on that card.
It is.
That's
Great.
one of the 5 pay-per-views that Kevin Thorne / Mordecai got to have in his career.
And I want to honour him next week. So I'm going to choose Great American Bash 04.
So I've done a bit of research. I've thrown up WCW Creed 2001, which is the final pay-per-view for WCW before they go out of business. So that event is sure to be absolute garbage.
I'm trying to look at what we can have for this wild card.
Yeah, now we've got our wild card suggestion, which was just picked by me last week and still didn't even win.
Yeah, sorry, pal.
I still think we should chuck up NXT Season 1 again. But maybe a bit sick of it.
I can chuck it up again as they are.
I don't know, just chuck something random.
NXT Season 1, Episode 2.
Yeah, nice.
Just
Or season 2, Episode 1.
I mean, we could do all of Slam City. I reckon we could get that all in one episode.
You reckon you want to do Slam City?
I kind of... you guys watched it with me. I'm a Slam City fan. If you guys want to do that,
Yeah, chuck it down. Chuck it down.
Slam City. So there we go. Got out.
They go for like a couple minutes, so we could pump all of those out, watch them all.
Yeah, I remember when we were just dicking around and chucked it on. I think the whole series goes for 40 minutes to an hour max. So it's it's not that long. It's basically like watching when we watched ECW Strip Poker. So it's not too tough to get through.
I reckon that's some good picks.
Some great content in there for Slam City. I kind of hope that gets picked now.
So do I.
But yeah, the options this week on the poll will be WCW Creed 2001, Backlash 2003, Great American Bash 2004, and our wildcard suggestion is Slam City. So do you boys have anything else to say before we go?
I mean, I might be really drunk this weekend, so I'll try and tweet out some gold.
Yeah, make sure you follow Pricey. He'll be tweeting gold.
I'm up and about this weekend, so get around me.
Just say the line, Bart.
That's all for this week. Stay hunky.